studios in Brea, California, here is the Doyledin podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Doyledin podcast. It's 2026 now. Welcome to 2026. And, we're not caught up on everything right now. So we decided, let's just talk about how 2025 was for wrestling. And, we started this channel. Well, we didn't start this channel. This channel was already going, but we started being a little frequent with our uploads on this channel, and this or 2025. So I don't know, 2025 kind of was a big year for me, and I thought just in general, I thought it was a good year, especially for wrestling. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, it was definitely a very memorable year, considering you had John Cena's retirement and that whole run up to it. I mean, it was a good 12 months of what's going to happen, and of course they did the heel turn, and that didn't turn out well, but it added to it. Even though it wasn't executed very well, and the payoff wasn't there. I think it still provided some like intrigue and interest for the casual fan. It pulled in some people that typically wouldn't watch wrestling because holy shit, John Cena's a heel now. What? I have to check this out. And whether they stayed on after that, I don't know. But that was definitely a huge memorable moment, being that heel turn. And I think Paul Heyman's turn on Punk and Reigns and going with Seth Rollins, which then eventually gave us Division, or the whatever they call themselves. Um, you know, I think that was definitely another memorable moment, and that's typically when you go back and look at things in pro wrestling, the biggest moments are those holy shit heel turns. You know, everybody remembers Hogan turning on Savage. Everybody remembers Shawn Michaels turning on Marty Jannetty. There's stuff like that where it's just like, what the, so when you have a couple of those in the year with big names and executed properly, it definitely makes for a memorable event or, storyline. And I think they pulled it off pretty well. Again, execution with Cena wasn't there, but
Yeah, it was WWE's first year on Netflix, right?
yeah, they
Yeah,
just had the
so
1 year anniversary.
yeah, their 1 year anniversary being, wasn't it like mixed up with Stranger Things, or was that the week after? I don't remember, but
No, that was the show. Yeah.
oh, yikes. Um, um,
Yeah. And I don't know if you want to touch on that show right now.
Stranger Things?
And talk. No,
Oh,
I mean, I don't watch that, but if you
this.
want to touch on,
Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know if you want to touch on the Raw, because the main event was absolutely awful. I thought, uh, CM Punk is, you know, he's a decent. He was tremendous back in the day. I mean, you go back 10 years ago, but now it's just everything's so, you know, methodical, and you can tell it's just being worked through, and it's like he's phoning it in. And I just think that he's got to work on some things that make him look not like CM Punk. Punches to kicks, they just are all so lazy, it seems. I don't know if he's hurting. I don't know if he's just, you know, not wanting to hurt his friends,
Hmm.
which is another part of the problem in that business these days. Everybody's buddy, and uh, it's like they're just dancing out there instead of actually making it look like they're fighting, which is what pro wrestling is supposed to be. Um, so that main event for me just didn't do anything. Didn't do anything for Braun Breaker. I thought they dropped the ball, and yeah,
Yeah,
you see it.
I didn't. I'm gonna be honest. These past two Raws, I just been focused on Gunther. That's it.
Yeah,
Uh,
Gunther's been great. I mean, again, the shining light of WWE is Gunther,
yeah,
right?
yeah, and I think he's probably the best wrestler of 2025. I mean, that
100%.
Gunther versus Punk match was actually I would probably put it on the best match of the year for me. Um, that was
Yeah.
a really good match, and yeah, so I need to see that the main event of Raw this past week, but I feel I was just put off because it was all Stranger Things. I was just like, nah, I got burned out by the finale of Stranger Things, and I was just like, I don't even want to see the existence of Stranger Things anymore. but uh, but yeah,
Very negative. And,
yeah, I'm just tuning in for Gunther. I like the shirt that he's got. It's whatever. I wish that they could work on that. Um, but I feel like just having that picture on the shirt kind of speaks for itself, you know. Um,
yeah.
I don't know. And I mean, even I will say the promo that AJ Styles had with Gunther, if you can call it if you could even call it a promo, was also kind of just lackluster. I was just like, what is this? Is it like this is the
Yeah.
AJ Styles coming out, you know, having that chance to have a one-on-one with Gunther, and he kind of just said one line. I don't even remember what he said, and then that was it, you know. And Gunther walked off, and you know, I was like, I was imagining they would just start beating the crap out of each other, but I guess not. Whatever.
Oh, I thought there was a slap or something, no? Or did I miss
Oh
was that something else?
yeah. AJ Styles slapped him. That's what it was. But it's just like Gunther didn't
Yeah.
fight back, or you know.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, with wrestling, you go in and you suspend your disbelief, right? That's the whole thing because it's choreographed. It's premeditated, all that stuff. But at the same time, you got to have characters true to themselves and true to real life. And when you have somebody stand there and slap you and you're not going to do anything about it, I mean, it makes you look weak. As a heel, at least you got to roll out of the ring and hold your face and look shocked and 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 pretend to you want to get back in the ring to beat them up, but somebody's holding you back like the refs. You don't jump back in until the refs come down, and they're going to hold you back, and it makes you look like a coward. But it was just like, okay,
Yeah. Because like all he did
who we
was
trying to put
laugh.
over here?
All he did was laugh about it. I was just like, all right, that's
Right,
kind of it. It's kind of felt
right.
well,
And I get it. They're trying to make him look like this big badass who can destroy anybody's career. But at the same time, there's elements of a heel that you have to put over. Otherwise, what's going to happen is, come AJ Styles, Gunther time, people are going to be cheering for Gunther, and that's not what they want. And that's
that's
the mistake they're
that's
making
what I
right now.
want. I want people to cheer
Well,
for
sure,
Gunther.
we love Gunther. We're pretty involved in the process and knowing and not the casual fan, right? So, but for the casual fan, you don't want him to come off as like, oh, we took a slap and he laughed it off. Oh, this guy's cool. I want him
Yeah.
to, you don't want them, So come the process here of this storyline and as they go on week by week, they have to make Gunther look like a chicken shit heel. Those are the best heels. Those are the ones that you end up hating the most, and you want to hate Gunther. And and it's okay to have the chicken shit heel persona and still have him as a badass. You can do it creatively. It's not difficult. Um, but I think sometimes, I don't know, these days it seems like it's more like, sounds good, just book it, kind of thing. And I'm surprised. So I think with Gunther, they got to be very careful. And maybe at the end of the day, maybe they want him to be this over babyface tweener like Steve Austin, who just doesn't give a shit and, you know, kicks ass. Maybe that's what they want. I don't know.
I have no idea, but what I want is Gunther to retire AJ Styles.
Oh, what's happening.
Yeah.
You know
So
what's happening.
and
He is the legend killer. He is the legit legend killer as far as that moniker goes now. And maybe that's where Orton comes back and says, "Hold on a second, I'm the legend killer." You know, it's like, oh, let's have a legend killer match. And he retires Orton too, and that's
that would be insane. I think that would be
yeah.
awesome for Gunther. But
Oh yeah.
I really do think he's the best wrestler they got. I mean, so I really don't think there's anybody else who is deserving of that at the moment. Um,
Right.
Braun Breaker is good, but I just think he's needs a little more work on some things. And
Well, yeah,
he,
I mean, you saw his move on Monday where he almost landed on his head.
I didn't
He was
see
going to
it.
do his Frankensteiner. He was going to do his Frankensteiner, and he leaned back too much before he could even jump up and
Oof.
get the Frankensteiner off. And he went back, and he almost landed on it. I mean, that could have been tragic, you know.
Hmm.
So there's some things where I think he needs to just settle down a little bit. Get more into the WWE style of wrestling, what we used to do back in the day, and uh, like we had guys come in like Sean O'Hare, who I managed in UPW, and when he came in from WCW, he was told, hey, because Sean used to go up the top, and he's a big dude. He's 6'4", jacked. I mean, he was the. If you look at him, you're like, holy crap, this guy is what I would imagine a pro wrestler to be, right? But he would go up the top, and he would do fucking moonsault, and they told him like, you can't, no, you can't do that here now. We want you to wrestle our style. You're a big dude, wrestle like a big dude, not a high flyer. And that really took the wind out of his sails and took the knees out from under him. And you know, he didn't really pan out with WWE because of that.
Mm.
And not blaming WWE, but my point is, there's a certain style that WWE wants. I'm surprised they're letting him do that kind of move, especially being a big jack dude that he is. I know we can do it. I'm not questioning it. But if you remember Brock Lesnar when he first came up and he did his shooting star press from the top rope and he landed on his head. Uh, and he almost, I mean, I don't know, only for his neck being the size of a tree trunk, I think he'd be paralyzed and in a wheelchair at this point. Um,
Yeah.
but he got real lucky. I mean, he got real lucky. And that's why they don't want these guys doing that kind of stuff, because you can do it. He did it in OVW, 50, 100 times, no problem. But the first time he did it in WWE on the big stage, he landed on his head. So, Braun needs to, I think, scale it back a little bit, not be doing that Frankensteiner thing. He can do that from his feet on the mat. He doesn't need to be on the top rope to do it. It's much safer, you know.
Hmm.
Um, so I think stuff like that, like you're saying, he needs a little bit of work. I think it's stuff like that. I mean, even Steve Austin, right? When Steve Austin was in the Hollywood Blondes, or he was stunning Steve in ECW and WCW, he did more than what you saw in WWE as Stone Cold, you know. And if you look at all the top guys, except for Brett and Sean, I'm sure there's maybe a couple more, but you have your 5 to 8 moves that you typically do in a match, um, and that's your signature. That's how you keep it basic, and that's how what works for that character. And that's what they kind of need to get back to is keeping these matches simple. The most memorable things are the finish and maybe some spots in between on the floor. But they just got to be real careful.
Yeah. I agree. And I feel like there was a lot of botches that I remember, but I just can't I can't tell you um I just can't tell you where it happened and who did it. But I just
Oh,
I feel like
yeah.
botches happen pretty often, and y- it's there's a whole compilations on YouTube that you could watch, and it's just watching those. It just makes me nervous. I hate it because like it's just not how it's body parts are supposed to be bent or stuff like that. And I don't know, it's got to be more careful. And you would think now where WWE is at, you think they would strive to be more careful. They would have told him, "Hey, don't do that." Do you think he did that without like getting clearance for it, or
No, that's a move that he does every week. I mean, well, in every
okay?
match, pretty much.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I know
but I
that,
think,
but maybe it's just kind of getting too old for him or something because like I don't know how you know
No, I think he just put, it's one of those things. It's just a mental error where he leaned
Gotcha.
back too much, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just maybe Punk didn't, you know, have a hold of him still. I don't know. I was not impressed with Punk in this match at all. So I'm not blaming Punk on that. I'm just saying, and I have to go back and look at it, but I don't know where the disconnect was there, but he went back and wasn't pretty. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's no, and this, going back to what you just said, there's a lot of botches, and there's more botches than ever in wrestling, and it makes the business look terrible. And I think part of the problem is you're in a situation now where everybody's trying to get their moves in, and everybody wants to one up everybody else instead of just focusing on them. And it just go out there and have a good match. Have a good match that's going to be memorable in the right way, and it makes sense to the storyline. And don't be trying to be this internet sensation, this social media sensation where you're gonna, oh, they'll post this and this will get me tons of likes, and so that's not what it's about, man. You know,
Do you think that's what's
they
going
got
through
to
their
slow.
head?
I think a lot of these younger kids, absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm.
What can I do that's gonna get me, a ton of shares on social media, and having all those shares on social media will get my name higher on the card, and I'll be a superstar. It's like, shut the fuck up. No, I prefer you to be safe, and the person you're in the ring with safe, and have a long career instead of doing stupid shit that is going to
Yeah.
potentially,
And it's just
put
five
you in a
minutes
wheelchair.
of fame. It's just like
You
it's
know?
nowadays. You post something that goes viral. It's only viral for like a day, if even that.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I feel like now the anything that gets kicked into social media is just instantly spit out within like like a couple hours. Um, but but yeah, it's kind of interesting because do you think there were wrestlers who had that mentality back then, but it was kind of towards a different thing instead of social media because we didn't have social media back then? But you know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm trying to ask? Like, were there
Yeah.
still
I
wrestlers with
do.
that
I do.
mentality?
Yeah. I mean, there was always the mentality though was, how can we have the fans go home and remember our match? And I guess that's kind of the same thing, right? But it wasn't, well, let's go to the top rope and do this big splat. No, it wasn't that. It was like, well, if I do this to you, and you do this back to me, and we go up to the outside, it was more safe. Yes, it was creative, just like they're trying to do now, but it wasn't such risky crap. It wasn't, how do I potentially do something that could, hurt both of us? It wasn't that. It was, let's do a move that we know is safe, and we'll practice it together. Where a lot of these kids don't practice this shit together. You know,
Hmm.
they get this idea. They'll do it themselves in the ring earlier in the day. Oh, I can do that. It's like, no, it's totally different when somebody's in there with you, laying on the floor. You have a target now. It's kind of like, on the driving range. Oh, I hit some great golf balls in the driving range. That's, you know, 2 football fields wide and 6 football fields deep.
You're ready to be a
Okay, well, now
golfer.
you're on a golf course, and now the fairway is that slim,
Yeah.
and now it's totally different. It's different in mindset. It's different in your head, and it doesn't work out how it did on the driving range. That's the same thing. If you're not doing it with that person who you're working with that night in the ring and practicing that exact move, not just on a crash pad. I see a lot of this happens where they do it on a crash pad. That's great. Okay, the crash pad is bigger. The crash pad is taller. It's more safe. You can't be doing these kind of moves without full preparation.
Yeah.
And they're doing it more and more, and they're getting more and more mistakes.
Yeah. Do you, because I'm just trying to think, like you have those moves, those crazy dangerous moves, and then it kind of takes away the magic from just a regular wrestling match. And now everybody has that expectation of, oh, I'm going to get some crazy moves, but then they're going to be disappointed when an actual good match that I think displays what pro wrestling should be about, which doesn't have all that stuff, is going to be a weaker match for them because it doesn't have the crazy high flying, throwing each other across the ring and all this, like all that stuff. And I don't know. I remember being younger and just thinking that, the matches were boring if it didn't have tables, ladders, or chairs. The matches were boring
Right.
if a wrestler didn't pull something out from under the ring. But that's because I was a kid. I wanted to see the crazy shit. But now it's kind of just like crazy shit's good, but it's got to make sense. It's got to have some some
Right.
some merit behind it. It can't just be, oh, we're just gonna have this wrestler do this move out of nowhere. They've never done this move before, but they wanted to try it, so let's have them try it. You know, uh, I don't know. I feel maybe. Do you think most of the WWE fan base is kind of just in favor of the extreme kind of stuff, or not extreme, but more of the the spectacle kind of stuff, I guess is the word.
I know what you're saying, the high flying kind of holy,
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah, no, I think that there's a very loud, small audience on social media, and they are a small audience who likes that. And because they're loud, it seems like, oh, that's what all the wrestling fans want, and it's not. It's these basement dwelling dweebs who, love the kind of AEW style and have no consideration, couldn't care less if somebody got paralyzed in the ring. They'd move on the next day to the next person, you know. And these promotions are listening to these people, and it's ridiculous, and it's pushing real wrestling fans away. And I'm sure we are real wrestling fans. We love, that's not real wrestling. Shut up. You know, you go back and look at my favorite match of all time, Steve Austin and Bret Hart. I can tell you that match top to bottom. And the basic things that they did in that match that made sense, and even they made mistakes in that match, but nobody else knew. And unless you go back and look at that match and go and understand, from a wrestling standpoint, then you wouldn't pick it up. But the little things that they did in that match that made this one of the greatest matches of all time, and in my opinion, the best match, was incredible. And there was no high flying spots, but it was what they did to each other and how they got each other over that made it memorable. And that's what a lot of these kids these days have, this social media presence that they don't want to be embarrassed, and they don't want, that's then get out of wrestling. Go do your OnlyFans. Go do whatever it is that you want to do. But wrestling is, if you're a heel, you have to be willing to be made look like a fool and lose while putting somebody else over and getting them over, and then winning to keep your persona a little bit alive there as a heel, bad enough to where it's going to mean something the next time you go against a babyface, and that's lost. And Gunther does it well. Gunther lost to some of the, like Sami Zayn last year, and he's still over because he
Jay
he he
Uso.
gets it. He is, yeah, and Jey Uso,
He tapped
but
out
he
against
is,
Jey Uso.
sure did. And now he's a tap out god. I mean, you know, but he is a guy who gets professional wrestling. He's from Europe. He grew up in the circus over there, not circuits, where it's all very technical wrestling and very psychological, you know, matches. Where now it's more like, it's not psychological. It's just more like, here's your move, then you do your move. There's no selling. There's the selling is little and few between moves and what they call move sets. Now they all have these like move sets now, right? I do my move set, you do your move set. It's like no,
I feel like
it was like,
yes, the art of selling is gone. Like nobody sells anymore. It's just lay on the ground until this happens.
right. Lay on the ground till that happens, and then they're sitting there waiting, and you just see them waiting, like looking up at the person, and it's like
Yeah.
it's awful. It is terrible.
I think Dolph Ziggler was
And
the last best seller. Like that kind of weird to say that, but he was the last wrestler who was really good at selling that I could
yeah,
remember. Like he was so good at selling that they didn't even want to boost him. They just kept him as a jobber. you
right,
know, like
yeah,
that's how good he was. And you mentioned your favorite match, and I'll mention mine. The Shawn versus Taker, WrestleMania 25. I mean, talk about selling. That's all they did in that match was sell each other's moves. And by the end of
yeah,
that match, they looked like they were just destroyed. And
right.
there's no match that I could think of that this year other than uh, Rusev versus Sheamus, their first match together, where that they kind of had that same feel. And those are two wrestlers who I think kind of from the same era. Well, no, kind of a little after the same era of John Cena, but they were able to, I guess, talk to some of those wrestlers. Get some pointers from some of those good wrestlers back then. I'm sure, but I don't know. I don't think there's anybody that has that old school feel other than Gunther, you know, and I think I think that's what's missing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and not such an old school feel, but just more of a pro wrestling feel, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it's kind of
not like I'm watching, Cirque du Soleil,
yeah, or
you
like a
know?
stunt show.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what we
Guess
want to
it's not the
see,
same
and I know
show.
TKO doesn't get that. But going back to your match, I mean, was that the match where Taker dove through the ropes? Taker Sean 25?
Maybe. I think
I
so.
don't know.
Yes. Yes, yes,
And,
yes, yes,
and,
it was.
and back to my point, there was no need to do that move, and Taker almost landed on his head.
And he took out a
And
camera
cameraman,
guy. Yeah.
well, the camera guy saved him. Camera
Yeah.
guy knew what was going on and saved him. And well, he was a plant. I mean, he was there for that reason. So you know, the whole going back to it, what a great match, right? But one of the few things I remember from that is the botch. There was no need for it. So you got to be smarter, and I think going into 2026, they got to really start looking at how to slow it down, focus more on the storylines. We talked about this last episode where some of the most memorable things have not happened in the ring at all. It's been on the outside, and they need to get back to that because that's what really makes the sensational news and gets you over, not just as a character, but as an organization.
Hmm.
How many times will a company or a news outlet or whatever it may be say, "Oh, this is a great move in this match tonight." No, nobody's going to say that because we know it's choreographed. We know it's a dance, right? But back in the day, in the Attitude Era, they sure as hell said, "Oh my God, Vince McMahon's car got filled with cement, and the DX bus blew up," and those reports like that, like it was sensational, and that's the kind of stuff that you want to keep going to make it more memorable. Like we had a few weeks back with um, who do they jump off and on the top of the car,
LA Knight
splashing
and with
LA Knight,
the
right? I
yeah,
mean,
LA Knight and Bronson Reed.
stuff like that, right? I mean, that's crazy shit to go back and look at, and that's what's going to get the casual fan to tune in because casual fan may not be interested in the match per se, but chaos and mayhem and what the hell's going to happen next? That's what gets people intrigued.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like we I don't remember what episode of Raw it was, but we talked about it on the show. We were like, man, that was probably like one of the best episodes of Raw in a while, and it was because it had that pro wrestling feel to it. But then it just completely just they threw it out the window the next episode, and they haven't gone back to that same feel. And so I'm very curious how like I mean I don't pay attention to the credits when Raw ends, but I'm very curious if they segment certain episodes to certain people. Um, and that's why like some of the writing just feels very different from Raw to Raw. And like I don't know how that works. Um,
Well, I mean, they will look at, what's on Monday Night Football, what time does that start at? What time do we start at? So they'll save certain things for a certain hour, depending on what's on, that's high rating,
but do they still
Um,
need to do that, especially with streaming?
well, not necessarily, but that's a good point, but that's the mentality we used to have.
Yeah,
Um, so, if they're looking for the live audience, yes.
because I
Uh,
would assume the live audience is what gets them the ad. They're the ad revenue because that they're
Correct.
playing at the ads. Even if you
Right,
pay
right.
the highest service for Netflix, you're still gonna get the ads on the live stream.
Yeah, of
But
course. But yeah, so you made a good point, but to the point, if you're looking for that live ad revenue, you definitely want to see what's going on. If Monday Night Football's on, college football, and those are the only things they were really concerned about, at least back in the day. And of course, WCW, which we don't have competition on Monday nights anymore. So if it's not football or some big, you know, presidential address or something like that, then it's not really, thought about,
gotcha, interesting. So I'm curious if that's if they still do that. Just be like they look up what's on Monday and they're like, all right, let's kind of base our show around this because this is a big thing that's coming out on Monday. So very curious if they
Yeah.
still do that. I would
I,
assume
I
that
would
they
I would
don't.
say they do. I
Okay.
would say they do. Going back to your point of the live ad revenue,
Yeah,
if they want to keep those,
it's
because
true.
even though you're advertising on streaming, you're still gonna want to make sure you're getting your bang for your buck.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. I don't know, but did they segment writers to certain like weeks? They're like, all right, you're gonna have this week, and the next week this is gonna be you, and then they kind of maybe like leapfrog. No, just kind
No,
of work together
no,
and stuff.
and I'm sure it's still done this way. If you look at Unreal, I don't watch Unreal because I think Unreal is just the the nail in the coffin for anything that you want to keep sacred in this business. I was working out when um, there was a beatdown the other night on Raw with some of the girls. Oh yeah, Raquel Rodriguez beat the shit out of um, Stephanie Bakur. And
Yes, 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 yes.
did you see that?
On this past week,
Yes.
yes, I did.
Okay. So I didn't have the volume up, but the crowd looked like they were like, oh, okay. Were they booing loudly?
No.
Right. That should have been one of the biggest moments where you get so much heat. And because you have shows like Unreal where it's, well, this is what we're going to do, and this is what it's going to look like. Nobody's going to give a shit because, okay, well, she's not really a bad girl because this is part of the show. They said it on Unreal on Netflix, so what? There's no need to boo her. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, okay, ha ha ha, it's funny, and people are more laughing at it because, oh, I'm in on the joke now, as opposed to I didn't know that was going to happen, and why is this happening? And you know, boo, because Stephanie McCure is a great wrestler, or she's hot, or whatever it is. Reason why I like her, this shouldn't be happening to her. You know,
Yeah,
and you've taken that whole uh, you know, emotional connection out of it.
for
And
sure.
that's a big part of the reason, in my opinion, why John Cena didn't work.
Yeah, and well, it's like you want to know how the sausage is made, you know, and it kind of
Right.
it ruins it, you know. Uh, I'm very curious to see whose idea it was for Unreal. Do you think it was like Hunter's idea? You think it was
Absolutely
TKO's
not.
idea? Uh,
Absolutely.
okay, and I would love to be the fly on the wall in that conversation of Hunter trying to be like, no, don't do this, don't do this.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but interesting. I mean, it is cool if you're able to separate the two. If you're able to, know that okay, this is the behind the scenes stuff, and then once Raw is on, if I'm in the stadium, let me ignore all that stuff that I know and just focus on what I'm watching. But it's hard to do.
Not today's world.
you know,
Not today's
um,
world. Everybody's an expert, and
we're
the
experts.
amount of people, absolutely not. But I'll tell you what, I mean, you might be, but I'm not. But
I
hey, but I'll tell you something. If all you have to do is go online and look at the comments on something, on a story, or and how many experts are on there. Well, kind of thing. And they're same in the audience now, because they're paying big bucks to go there just to show. Oh, see, I was right. This is the mentality, you know. And it's like, oh yeah, I knew that was going to happen, or I didn't like that. And that's another part of the problem is if they don't like it, you're getting the wrong kind of heat. Because in today's world, they've been pacified so much, these fans, and especially with the Cena debacle of the heel turn, and other storylines where they've just kind of turned face because uh, it's not what the people wanted. It's like Vince would never do that. Vince would be like, tough shit, this is what you're getting.
yeah.
And people would come around to it. And that's why he was a freaking genius, because he would know, well, we're still gonna do it, but I'm gonna change it a little bit, and then you're gonna like it. And it's like, holy crap. It's kind of like I don't like the broccoli, mom. Well, let me put some cheese on it, but you're still gonna eat the broccoli. You're gonna taste the cheese, but it's still broccoli.
Yeah.
Um, so it's one of those things where they got to stop giving into the fans, giving them what they want in the essence of you know you don't like this here, well then we'll change everything just to please you, because then you have these fans that come to the shows, and if it's not their way, you're not getting a typical fan response. You're getting a disgruntled customer
And
response.
and look at our truth, for example.
Oh my god.
Remember when he got released? Everyone was up in arms, all pissed off that he got released, and then they brought him back. And what have they done with him? Absolutely
Yeah,
nothing.
right.
They've done nothing
Now he's
with
back to
him.
the original character that got him released.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's
It's crazy to
they got to
see
reset.
because our most viewed short was talking about how there's not much to do with him, and then they brought him back, and so I had to name the short "This Age Like Milk" because that we recorded that before um, they brought him back, and we knew that they brought him back, and so we're like, oh, they're gonna do something with him, but no, they didn't. So
Yeah,
that now that short is aging like cheese. So
yes. It aged like milk, and then sprang back to aging like wine.
yeah, exactly.
Um, but you can always. I mean, that's just the way it is now. I mean, I honestly, I wish I could have a half hour with fucking TKO and just you know smarten them up to like, holy shit. And I'm sure Hunter has, and I'm sure Paul Heyman has. Paul Heyman's even come out and said he hates Unreal. You know what I mean? And I agree with him for every aspect that he has said. I agree with that.
hmm
Um, but it's but I think people like TKO from the outside who don't understand the wrestling business, they have this mentality of, well, everybody knows it's not real, right? So I mean, And it's like, no, but that's not the point. Everybody knows magic is not really magic; it's tricks. But when you start giving away how to do the tricks, people aren't going to come see your show anymore.
Because
You know,
everybody knows how to do it. They can just do it at home.
right? We know David Blaine is doing some crazy shit. It's not really magic per se. He's figured out a way how to do this, psychologically to where we don't notice it, and it looks like it's magic, and that's great. But if he starts telling you how he's doing it, I don't. What's the point in going to see a show?
Exactly. Yeah, there used to be this magic show
Mhm.
where it was just a guy who would just come out and just reveal these tricks. Like he would show you the trick, and then he'd reveal the trick. It was cool because as a kid, but like at that like you said, what's the point of even going to a magic show? I already know how they're sawing a
Yeah,
chick in half. You know.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you, when I think I told you the story before. When I was a kid, me and my next door neighbor Paul McGrath went to a Christmas party at at your granddad's company, the Irish Glass Bottle House.
Okay.
And every Christmas we have a Christmas party, and it was the best thing every year for me. That was right. So big hall, big Christmas party. They'd have a Santa come in, all that stuff. And this one year they had a magician, and I was like, holy shit! So the magician called me up, and I was like, puts the box
That's
over my
awesome.
head, puts the blade through the box, opens the thing, and my head's gone, right? And my buddy Paul, my next door neighbor Paul, is down there, and he's like, "Oh, holy shit!" And then, of course, everybody else is like, "Oh my god, it's crazy." And then he puts the whole thing back, and then my head's back, and that killed that. Like that, at first it was cool to get up there and like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be part of the trick. I'm gonna be part of the show." But once now I know how the trick's done, it's like, okay,
And
that
and
fucking
and,
sucks.
and it kind of sucks because you didn't get to see the trick.
I didn't get to see it. My head was gone.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
funny.
but yeah, no, but yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, now the cat's out of the bag. That means that trick doesn't. Every time I see it now on a magic show where they cut the woman in half and all that, it's like I know how to do that.
Yeah, they're just hiding in the box.
You know? Yeah.
But
So, but as a kid, it was kind of like, man, come on.
yeah, interesting. That's
But
funny.
anyway,
Um, well, I mean, is there any wrestler that you would love to see more of in 2026 that you don't think had time to shine in 2025 or wasn't given the time to shine?
hmm.
Both
Well, I don't
female
know if they
and
weren't
male.
given the. Yeah, I don't know if they weren't given the time to shine, but again, seeing more of them, as long as it's done right. Otherwise, less is more. Um, I don't want to see somebody on screen a lot more if they're not going to be creative, if it's not going to get them over. But if it's going to be like, this guy again, kind of like how Cena used to be back in the day. People got just like, fucking Cena again. You know,
That's how I'm feeling
um,
about Austin Theory, to be honest.
yeah,
It's like, this guy, this is your big guy that you know,
right,
was your masked man. Like, all right, whatever, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I would love to see more of Liv Morgan, um, Raquel Rodriguez for sure.
Yeah,
I think that she can be a dominant. She can be the biggest heel in WWE, not just female, but on the roster. Period.
yeah.
As long as they keep her looking strong like they did last Monday, holy shit! And I'm watching it, and I'm working out, but I'm at the screen like it's like this is great. And again, I didn't have the volume on, but I could tell by the audience like it's not getting over like it should.
Yeah.
Like I don't care how much it came across, I guarantee it wasn't deserving of what it should have been. And so those two for sure. I think Stephanie Vacour, you know, I don't want her to keep playing into this whole Hispanic role. You know,
But
that's very one dimensional.
she's
That kind of
Hispanic.
pigeonhole.
It's like
No, I understand
that's
that,
like
but
saying
that shouldn't
Asuka
be.
shouldn't be the Kabuki warrior, because
Well, but it's the Kabuki Warrior, and they have that accent, but there's not. They don't always come out and go. I am Japanese, and
You're right.
let me
You're
talk to you.
right.
Let me talk to you and tell you how proud people are of me being Japanese. It's like, okay, get it. Be somebody though.
Yeah.
Don't let your culture or I mean it works in certain aspects, but with her, she is such a great look that she should just be, yes, she can be Stephanie Vacour from Mexico or wherever she's from, but who is Stephanie Vacour? You know? Where shame is, okay, he's Irish. I get it. Irish are known for, being fighters. So that's the fighter persona. Got it. That makes sense. Celtic warrior. Got it. But if Ireland was known for nothing but, beautiful sunsets, you know, I wouldn't want him to come out all the time like I'm Irish and it's like, okay, cool, sunset boy, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, what does that have to do with wrestling?
Yeah.
Fighting, wrestling, got it, you know? So if it makes sense to pro wrestling, I get it, you know? But I need her not to be just pigeonholed into being Stephanie Vacour, who is from Mexico or wherever she's from. Um, Also, on the male side, I'd like to see Dom get away from all the shit that he's involved with right now. If he's not going to be the leader of, the faction,
Judgment Day.
um, Judgment Day, then get him away from it, you know, and turn him face. Have Judgment Day turn on him, man. You know. But he's a
I
great
want to
talent,
see him
man.
with a big title.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes' title. Oh, wait. Did uh do you know? Do you know the info about last night?
Last night,
Cody Rhodes is not the
SmackDown.
champ anymore.
What?
They took the belt off Rhodes.
This is breaking news right now.
They took the
What
belt
happened?
off Rhodes and gave it to McIntyre.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, they gave that's what I heard. They gave the belt to McIntyre.
That's insane. So what happened? This is on SmackDown last night?
Yeah, let me look it up real quick. I
And,
thought you
and then it's
I thought you knew
so
about
it's
it.
funny because I was watching SmackDown and then I turned it off for some reason. Before there was a seven or there was a five. What was it, a five depths of hell match or whatever it was called? But again, I turned it off because it's like, it's Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, that's where he won the belt in the Three Stages of Hell
Okay.
match.
Well, I'm guessing because of Drew's history and not being so successful, somebody helped him because there's no way he went over clean. If he did, that's crazy for Cody.
Let's see.
Wow, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
All right, well, there you
What
go.
well, what if they turn Cody heel after this?
They did?
No, what if they do? Would it have mattered if anybody jumped in? I don't know if anybody jumped in. I just heard that McIntyre won it.
Huh. Well, I'll have to go back and rewatch and figure it out then.
Yeah, because
Um,
I don't I don't watch
but
SmackDown, but anyways, go ahead.
but getting back to I'd like to see uh, it looks like we're getting more from Braun Breaker anyway, so that's good.
Okay, so
Um,
there was interference. There was interference. So
yeah, I figured it have
it
to.
was so first was a singles match, second was a falls count anywhere match, and then the last was a steel cage finale. Do you want to guess who interfered?
Since I haven't watched SmackDown forever, Roman Reigns.
Jacob Fatu.
Boy,
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be interesting because we're heading into the Rumble, and Cody doesn't have the belt, so it's McIntyre, and whoever wins the Rumble will get, you know, dibs on that belt, I guess, depending if they're from
Well, I hope
SmackDown.
it's not. I hope it's not one of these things. What they did with uh, Becky Lynch and her championship there recently, uh, where she lost it and then got it back 3 weeks
Man,
later.
I saw that. I was so disappointed. So disappointed.
But
Like right
I
when
mean,
she comes back, like come on.
you built her up, Maxine Dupree. You built her up. She was looking great, and now they just. I don't know why. I mean, her matches were looking good. She was looking good. Everything was clicking, and I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I have
So
no idea. Once I saw that, I was just like, what are they doing? Because
yeah,
like why I don't know, maybe they're just getting ready for Rumble. I don't know, like maybe if they're gonna have faces win Rumble or something. I don't know. Um that's why they're changing the belt and putting it on heels. I'm not too sure.
yeah. I don't know. That, I'm shocked that Drew took the title from Cody Rhodes. Again, I haven't watched SmackDown in a long time, so I'm not quite sure how that storyline's been going and what the premise behind their feud is. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, I know he got involved.
I'd love to see the crowd's reaction to it all, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure there's stunned and I'm sure there's a lot of people crying and whining on the internet this morning that
I think McIntyre deserves it. I think he's going to be a phenomenal holder of the
oh,
belt if they let him keep it. I hope that they don't.
absolutely.
I hope they didn't put it on him just to have him lose it to whoever wins the Rumble. Uh,
Oh, he's got a great look.
yeah, and
Yeah,
but we'll see. We'll see how that statement ages. we'll see. We'll see if they have him lose the belt against just whoever wins the Rumble. But yeah, I hope, like you said, I hope it's not some Becky Lynch ordeal, Becky Lynch, Maxine Dupree ordeal where it's going to be taken off the very next week, or like not very next week, but
yeah,
you know what I'm trying to say. But
yep. That's interesting. I mean, they might have a match at the Royal Rumble, a rematch.
yeah, but I hope
You know,
McIntyre wins it. If they do have a rematch, I would assume it would be a Hell in a Cell or like no disqualification because they just did 3 stages of Hell.
yeah,
So I don't know. Kind of makes sense because when is
yeah.
the
Unless
Rumble?
it's a three-way, unless it's a three-way match between Jacob and Cody and Drew.
I hope not.
So Jacob's heel now, huh? Is that what it is? So Rumble should be, I think next weekend, right?
January 31st. Yeah, so
Oh, okay. So we
last
got
day
a
of the
couple
month.
of weeks still.
Yeah, we got some time.
All right.
So yeah, I'm guessing they're
Yeah.
gonna build up that to build up McIntyre and someone else. Maybe I have to see the finish. I just heard that that's what happened and went to bed. um,
Well,
so yeah, I'll have to watch it. Maybe I'll
well,
throw a clip up or something.
yeah. I hope this isn't a common trend where they're just let's put the belt on somebody for a few weeks and put it back again.
Yeah,
You know,
just to get people
but
to watch and click and like and subscribe and all that shit. I don't know.
yeah, it's the age we live in now, right? What gets clicks for now?
Yeah, yeah, but but yeah, I mean,
But yeah. Well, what do you who do you
2026.
who do you see? Stepping out of the shadows
Oh,
and having a
Dominic
success for you.
Mysterio. I think that's
Yeah.
I I would love Dominic to win the Rumble, and then Dominic chooses to go up against Drew McIntyre and gets the belt because he's Dirty Dom.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the thing. I think that it's too soon for him to win the Rumble. I think next year. I think you put another 6 8 months of him working his ass off, turning face before the end of 2026, and then winning the Rumble, and he can headline WrestleMania next year. Absolutely.
I like that idea. That's pretty
I just don't
sick.
think there's because he's hurt right now, right? Is he hurt right now?
That's a good question. Let me look it up.
I thought he was out injured, so you wouldn't want to be, putting any big plans for him uh, with Mania coming up in a couple of months.
Yeah,
But
shoulder injury.
yeah,
And it happened at
so
the Triple A's.
uh, so yeah, now, there's another thing, right? Now we're working with different rings, different styles, and that's going to happen a lot more, unfortunately. And I don't know if AAA are using WWE rings. I doubt it, but I guarantee you that AAA rings are not as forgiving as WWE rings. WWE really changed how their rings, how you bump in those rings over the last 20 years. Um, Very safe. I mean, those moves that you get on the ring apron, you wouldn't be able to do those 25 years ago because rock hard and you'd probably crack a bone or something. But now
Mm.
you can do it where you get slammed on the apron and you know it's not as bad. It doesn't hurt as bad. Um, but as far as AAA rings, I I wouldn't say they're as forgiving as WWE rings.
I haven't seen
So you got to be,
anything from AAA, so my apologies.
you know,
but but yeah. Also, do you think in a situation like that, you go to a different promotion, even though it's owned by the same company, right? They're owned by the same.
yeah. TKO now owns AAA as well.
I mean,
Yeah.
you have a wrestler from that promotion. Do you think there's going to be some, murky waters where they're like, man, I want to stiff arm this guy because he's from fucking WWE. Fuck this guy. I'm sure not, because it's mainly, uh, lucha libre kind of wrestling, and Dominic has history on that side. But that's would also be another reason for somebody to stiff arm him. Um,
Yeah. I don't think that they would do that to Dominic because considering who he is and the lineage and the history in Mexico with his family.
yeah,
But I would say that if you would send a gringo down there, and if he didn't act appropriately and give the respect to the luchas that should be given, they may take some liberties on him.
yeah.
I mean, still happens in WWE sometimes.
Hmm.
You gotta be disrespectful if you're going to not respect, who we are and what we've done, even though we're disrespecting ourselves every time we go on TV these days. Um, then we'll give you a little receipt.
Yeah,
Um, and it is what it is.
yeah. Well, I mean, as far as 2026 goes, do you think it's going to be a good year for WWE? Do you think they're on the right track? Do you think there's things I mean, I feel like we kind of talked about this already. You do believe that there's things to work on, obviously, but
Absolutely. Yeah, creatively they gotta step it up. I mean, they gotta stop focusing on bringing up so many talent and focus on really getting over the talent that they have on the roster. Uh, Being more creative with the weekly programming. Um, I Netflix now has a lot of the shows from the past on there now. PLEs, pay-per-views, Raws. I was
finally,
watching some Raws. Yeah, I was watching some
it's in
Raws
one
from
spot.
yeah, yeah. I think it's all gone from Peacock now. Um,
And ESPN. Or
but
they're still not going to be on ESPN, right?
well, the PLEs are on ESPN.
Okay, but then once they're done, they're going to be on Netflix.
Uh, Beats me probably.
That's what I understood,
Um,
because now they have all the PLE backlogs on Netflix, is what I heard.
how long after the PLE does it go on Netflix?
It's a good question.
Because if that's the case, I don't need to go and watch it on ESPN. I'll just wait a week.
I mean,
So
I think that's kind of what they're trying to do. Maybe, I don't know, because ever since they announced that all the stuff's going to be on Netflix, there hasn't been a PLE. So we'll have to see how they do that with the Rumble.
What is the last PLE on Netflix?
I'm checking right now. Let's see.
While you're checking, I was just going to say, you know, being on Netflix, I was watching Raw from '97, and it's like that's how you do storylines, man. That's how put a thread through the whole show and keep people interested. Not like today where it's just, you know, we'll interview somebody like it's a sports show and they'll go have a match. It's like there's no entertainment value in this. There's nothing to keep me interested. There's nothing to keep me from turning this channel or not finishing watching the stream on Netflix. I want to go back to my TV and watch, certain TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear somebody talking about what they're going to do when I know it's already predetermined. So give me some entertainment. It's like I don't want to listen to, you know, Keanu Reeves telling me how he's going to go and beat these guys up John Wick style, and then have him go and start killing people. No, just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Be creative. Be creative. Show me why he's pissed off. Show me why he's going to go out there and kick some ass and make something happen to him to where it's like it's not going to happen. He's going to be the underdog, and then give me the match. I don't need to keep these sports like interviews. It's not a traditional sport, you know,
Yeah.
and people will take that whatever way they want. But yes, they're athletes, and yes, it's a taxing. It is a sport per se, but the show itself, the spectacle, is not your typical sport. So you
It's
can't treat it like that.
it's like having a commentary at Cirque du Soleil. Like that's
Yeah,
it just wouldn't work.
yeah.
It'd be
I'm gonna go
annoying.
up there. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna hang from those rings the best I can hang. So, okay, great. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So I looked up Survivor Series. It had 2024. So I don't know how far back it goes, or how early the PLEs get put on. So I think
okay.
you're right. I think it'll be on ESPN as well. Or I'm sorry, it'll be on ESPN mainly, the new PLEs. So whatever.
Yeah,
But I still think it's cool that they were able to put the rest of the catalog on Netflix. I think that's cool to have it on one
yeah.
spot.
Seems like they're uploading more and more each day, almost. So every day I go back to check, and it's recently added, recently added. It's like, okay, cool. I would love to see a chronological order of shows, not just Raw, but like how it was per week, like Raw Monday, SmackDown, you know, uh, Sunday Night Heat, whatever it may be. Um, because if you're watching, because back then it wasn't separate brands, it was, so if I'm watching Raw now, I got to go out of Raw, go back and find a SmackDown for the next week, for that same week. And then after that, I got to go back and find the Raw for the week after. And then, so it's a lot of back and forth and searching. And
Yeah,
if they can do it in a chronological order, that would be great.
they don't care.
Nah, they don't.
they,
Just
they
pay a
don't care.
bit.
Yeah. um, but yeah, I mean that's kind of. I mean, do you have anything else you'd like to say, like to talk about? Maybe that's not wrestling
No,
related, or
no. It's
no?
just been a hell of a morning. I left the house and I had my son's bag, Connor's bag, instead of my bag. I had to go back and get.
Oh
It's
no,
trying to get this set up was a nightmare. It's been, oof. Yeah.
gotcha. Well, as we go into 2026, I hope that we can be more active with the channel. Hopefully.
Yeah. Why don't you make that happen there, pal?
I'm sorry. It's once the new year
How
hit,
dare you have a life outside this
it was.
non
and
non profitable podcast.
But I
How
like
dare you?
doing it. That's the reason. I like doing this, and I like doing it so much that I'm
Yeah.
gonna be making more videos outside of the podcast too. So that's
Yeah.
something to
So
look
you
forward
got
to.
something coming up, right? You got.
Oh
Why don't you tell us
yeah.
about
Yeah, so
your
I already have a video. It'll be up here, maybe. I don't know. That I uploaded where I'm interviewing a friend of mine who owns a comic book store, and that was kind of like a
great
uh,
interview, by the way?
thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, I that was more of like a test of like, all right, let's see, if people are gonna watch this, kind of prepare me for when I start doing stuff at the conventions. And what I mean by stuff at the conventions is going to these conventions, recording myself there, going through kind of the history of the conventions, as well as interviewing people that are there at the convention, people who are enjoying the convention. And so that interview that I uploaded with my friend was more so a test to see how it would do. To my shocking knowledge, I guess, I was so surprised that I got more than 1,000 views within 1 week.
Yeah.
Considering the sub count of my channel, considering the views I would normally get on my channel, that was crazy. So that's what I'm looking forward to as well. 2026 is getting that ball rolling, going to these conventions and meeting cool people and all that stuff. So
That's great. I mean, that interview itself, I would encourage people to go watch it. I thought it was very good. Uh, what's the bookstore owner's name? The
Enrique
Enrique. I thought was a great
Munoz.
interview.
Yeah,
It was cool to hear his background and how he got into the comic book industry and uh, now running a very successful comic book store in
yeah,
Southern California. So great job.
yeah. Thank you. So we'll see what this year has in store for me. I have high hopes. And yeah, it'll be interesting to look back at this video at the end of the year and see see if our hopes and dreams were fulfilled.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm going to the first convention tomorrow. It'll be an anime convention. Um, I don't know shit about anime, but I'm gonna learn. So yeah, um, that's about it. I mean,
Great, man. Well, look forward to seeing that video up, and we'll get that
yeah,
link
yeah,
out
yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah, post it on this channel as well and all the channels and
yeah. And I'll be promoting this channel too over there. Of
yeah,
course.
yeah. Not
Hey,
much to promote, but yeah.
if people like wrestling here, this is the spot. We don't always have to talk about wrestling either. Talk about comics.
Oh, we have in the past. We can do more. We can comics, JFK.
JFK, yeah.
Um,
Other
you
conspiracies.
know, yeah.
AEW is doing a crossover with DC Comics.
It's
So
unfortunate.
there's a AEW x DC comic book coming.
All right.
Yeah. I will read it. I will read it. And that'll be
Yeah, sure.
my only experience with AEW because I have never seen an AEW match, program, whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that should be interesting.
Yeah. But anyways, I
Well,
think
cool.
I'm out of things to talk about. Anything on the
Yeah.
mind? Nothing?
Nah, let's wrap it up.
All right, let's wrap it up. This has been the Doyledin podcast. Have a good day. Have a good night. Whatever your time zone may be, don't forget to stay doiled in. Take care, everybody.